If you make a Rocket League video that claims to feature specifically ranked players, the comment section is always going to look the same. But why does this happen? Are YouTubers really purposely choosing bad players for their videos? Are players lying about their ranks to be in a video? Well, let me start out by saying, as a creator, confirming a person's rank is always the first step of choosing participants. And to do this, I use the Rocket League Tracker Network site, where I can look at career stats, games played, current ranks in each playlist, and rank history going back multiple seasons. But having accurate information about players is not just for content creators. No, it can also help you in your games, and that's where the Rocket League Tracker app comes in. With live match data, you can scout the other team for rank discrepancies, see which player has the most experience, and even who is on a hot streak. Also, the app is great for personal assessment too, as it keeps track of your match history and performance with real-time analytics that are available in the convenient overlay. And the best part is, this tool is completely free. Just use my link in the description below to download, install, and join the over 300,000 players that use the Rocket League Tracker app. Well, that was a sneaky segue into my sponsor read. The Rocket League Tracker Network is going to play a role in this video, as we will once again be featuring toxic YouTube commenters taking on my previous video participants. But this episode is going to be a little different. While maybe not as satisfying as past entries in this series, I think it's important to show you guys that sometimes people do lie about their rank to be in a video. Recently, I made a video that had Supersonic Legends taking Plat teammates into competitive. The challenge started with the SSLs watching a 2v2 game between 4 Plat participants and then picking their teammate from that group. But some in the comments had negative things to say about these allegedly Plat level players. For our first matchup, I'll be putting 2 YouTube comment challengers against 2 of the Platinums from that video. On the blue team, we'll have my Plats, Elko and Krejud, and on orange, Pixeldel and Slow Unknown, both of whose called out comments I'll be sharing with you shortly. But first, I think we have to highlight this seldom seen in the wild, same team rule 1. What an interesting way for the challenger team to show their dominance. As we watch Slow Unknown go for an honestly impressive attempt at a ceiling musty, let's check out his comments on the Plat video. He says, "They are not Plats. They can't even aerial." While I can kind of understand the confusion when someone is supposed to be the same rank as you, but doesn't seem to have the same mechanics, I think it's often overlooked that there's a lot of ways you can achieve the mid-tier ranks, and concentrating on spinning aerials is just one of them. That being said, that's a great pass by Slow to his teammate Pixel, and the challengers have struck first. I do want to add that Slow did make one other comment, indicating that he'd love to be in a video like the Plat SSL challenge, and claiming he was probably the best Plat to ever exist. I think the main problem with trying to judge a player's skill in just a few minutes of footage is you'll see someone whiff on an aerial like this, while totally forgetting that you do the same thing too sometimes. We saw that, Slow. Fortunately, Pixel is there to bail him out, and with that, let's see what he had to say about the Plats in my video. "It's sad how I can play better than these Plats, yet I'm gold." Yeah, that would be pretty sad. And so far in this game, you might say Pixel is kind of proving his point. He's kept up well. So what's going on here? Perhaps my Plats are boosted? Maybe ranked is broken, or maybe someone here is lying about their rank. Much like when choosing video participants, comment challengers also involve me heading to the Rocket League Tracker site to see just what I'm dealing with. So even before the game started, I already knew that Pixeldel wasn't a gold at all. He is actually Diamond 1. Now, as we show Slow struggling to find space to show off his Plat aerial prowess, I wanted to let you guys know that I recently found out that being the best Plat to ever exist actually means you're Diamond 2. And I didn't even need RL Tracker to find this one out. Here's Slow pinging Striped in his server, claiming to be the best D2. Now maybe I did still give these guys what they wanted by bringing them in for this video, but personally, I don't think this is the W they thought it was going to be. I mean, here is Diamonds playing against supposedly terrible boosted Plats that can't aerial, and yet the score is now 1-1. But unfortunately, life is not a fairy tale. As great as it would be for the Plats to pull off a win, a late goal by the Diamonds puts the game away, but I still think they can hold their heads high after this one. As for the challengers, after only managing to beat the bad Plats by 1 goal, they didn't have too much to say. I did talk to them in DMs after the game, wondering if they were going to confess or reveal what I already knew, but Pixeldel just reiterated the fact that he played better than them despite his lower rank. And Slow Unknown offered his services again if I needed a Plat in the future. I've never had a video that's created as much backlash as my December 2021 feature on 2 champs that never used ball cam. 2 weeks after release, it had over 1,300 comments. And as you can expect, many of them were calling out these players for not being champ. I quickly followed up with a commenter challenge video in which the Carcam champs proceeded to humble all their haters. And even after watching the champs defeat all their opposers, I still get some that call out these players as not deserving their rank. Now recently, one of the comments on that video caught my eye, and since I was setting up the challenge with my Plats, I decided to bring back the Carcam champs for another game as well. The commenter claims, I can literally beat the Carcam champs with my D1 duo. Like I swear, let me in the vid and you'll see. I think honestly I'd embarrass them so much you wouldn't even post it. After getting in Discord DMs, I was able to confirm that the commenter was a former Diamond 3 that was currently in D2, while his teammate was indeed Diamond 1. It's a bold claim to predict the embarrassment of champ players while playing with a D1 teammate, but that's what these videos are all about. So let's see how it goes. Now, if you didn't watch my previous videos on the Carcam champs, let me bring you up to speed. Both Hoax and Donair Daddy have played Rocket League for a long time, and both never use ball cam. Now, when I'm spectating in director mode, every player view defaults to ball cam, so it looks pretty normal here. But as a short demonstration, here's what it looks like for them while they play. Now, one of the most repeated reasons given for why these guys weren't champs was the lack of half flips. A complaint that will no doubt be reignited again by Donair's backflips here. While remembering that half flips aren't the major requirement low ranks often think they are, I want to add that as a Carcam player, a half flip would make you lose sight of the ball. So it's important to understand that these guys have adapted some of their own techniques and practices that work for their unique playstyle. After over a minute of back and forth play, it's the Carcam champs that strike first, scoring on a team that I thought was supposed to be well on its way to an embarrassing victory by now. But 30 seconds later, the challenger team strikes back, with Mike really getting into that role of toxic commenter. From there, close calls at one end lead to goals at the other, making both me and my Carcam champs a little bit nervous. Were these YouTube challengers actually going to prove their point? But once again, things in this match are not quite what they seem. Except for this time, it was something I didn't figure out until after the match. You see, shortly before game time, another person joined the group DM and took the Diamond 1's place. Now, I'm not suggesting this was a purposeful deception, as allegedly the original teammate had COVID, but this context does change the narrative of this game a bit. Meanwhile, my Carcam champs still think they are on the brink of losing to a Diamond 1. No doubt a high-pressure situation. But with 2 quick goals, they are back in the game. Honestly, I do have to say the YouTube commenter in this game played well, but as we head to overtime, I think it's important to point out that this game has not played out anywhere close to what the original challenge promised. Instead of embarrassing the champs with his Diamond 1 teammate, he has lost to them with a champion teammate. A close game, I'll admit, but that's to be expected with closely ranked players. This next game was recorded about a month after my Carcam champ versus Toxic Challenger video came out, and it's been sitting in the vault ever since. While at the time I felt that Hoax and Donair had successfully answered most of the challenges about their rank, Kura and his friend Mystic's tirade in the comment section was just too ridiculous to ignore. Their claims and the eventual challenge is a long-winded and overcomplicated thread, but it's also an interesting story. So I'll do my best to summarize it while you watch Donair and Hoax take on yet another YouTube commenter challenge. After watching the Carcam Challenger video, which featured multiple players from varying ranks and regions, Kura first had to comment on what he thought it showed about the state of competitive in Rocket League, alleging that people are carried to a rank and then afterwards still able to win by themselves while playing like a gold because they still get matched with solo queue players that carry them even more. There's a lot to unpack here, so we're just going to leave that alone and move on. Kura's friend Mystic next joined the thread to suggest I must purposely pick bad players, as there's no way all the challengers would randomly be that bad. Honestly, it's a common accusation YouTubers get, but it ignores the reality of what it would take to actually find specifically bad players. Like, do I spend hours watching their replay files? Who has that kind of time? Kura now directs his complaints directly at the Carcam champs, saying if they are champs, they should be able to do aerials and shit. But they aren't. Once again, the common practice of someone judging a player's rank based on whether they did a specific mechanic properly or enough during a short sampling of footage. You know, it would be a shame if someone did that in this video. Like, if we were to decide that champs should never whiff on simple aerials and then kept track of how many times it happened. Yeah, that would be terrible. Who would do that? As these comments always do, Kura finally gets to the cocky challenge portion of his rant, alleging him and Mystic, who is Champ 3, would absolutely destroy the Carcam champs. He also reiterates that Hoax and Donair are definitely not champion players, and every other rank in the challenge video is boosted as well. Yes, there are 10 players featured in the video, and all of them are boosted. Now, I always think it's important to accept and use the logic of challengers in these types of videos. So if the champs are not champ, but also all the challengers that the fake champs beat are also not the rank I said they were, then it's fair to conclude that to Kura, the Carcam champs would actually be low diamond at best. Again, I'm just trying to use his logic, not mine. Additionally, if a C1 and C3 play some low diamond players, it should be an easy win. Or in the words of Kura, we would expect them to get absolutely destroyed. As we moved to Discord DMs and I arranged to set up the match, I found out that Kura and Mystic were EU, while Hoax and Donair are NA. And this is where things get interesting. After I suggested we use NA servers, Kira resisted, accusing Hoax and Donaire of being so bad they need a ping advantage. What struck me as weird, as wasn't he the one that originally alleged they were bad in the first place? Besides the fact that if we took their actual ranks, Kira and Mystic still had a rank advantage anyways. Strangely, the confident YouTube commenters turned to worried Discord complainers very quickly, asking how they were supposed to play their best on NA ping, and protesting that the players they called bad would now have an advantage. I don't know about you, but I thought it was pretty funny to see someone go from claiming they were going to destroy these boosted champs to crying about having to do it with higher ping. Though Kira didn't appreciate the irony, as apparently that was me trying to turn this shit around. In the end, I decided to let them have their way. The ping disadvantage would be on the so-called diamond players they were going to destroy. I mean, how could you argue with Kira's logic? If we insisted on NA servers, it would mean that the champs were so bad they needed a ping advantage. But agreeing to EU servers was the fair option, because that way the higher ranked challengers can play their best. No way there's any double standard there. As we reach the halfway point of the game tied 2-2, I can only assume that absolutely destroy means something different in EU. So far, we've had a fairly even game, as is to be expected, with similarly ranked players. That is the tough thing when people of the same rank challenge that they are better than someone they see in a video, because the reality is, ranks win and lose against the same rank all the time. I mean, who hasn't completely shut out an opponent in competitive, only to match up to them again and lose horribly in the next game? Neither game really proves one is better than the other, because you're all the same rank for a reason. It just might be different reasons. Now, some have accused me of only showing games in these videos that fit my narrative, but I can assure you, as of this recording, every challenge game that I have ever ran has appeared in a video. It just so happens that a vast majority of the time, the challenger does not prevail, and I'll let you come to your own conclusions as to why that is. Now, while Kira and Mystic didn't lie about their ranks for this game, they did, in my opinion, make false accusations about the ranks of both the Carcam champs and all the other participants in that video, claims that I think we have put to rest with this game here today. But as much as I wish Donaire and Hoax managed to come through with the win on this one, the challengers do get the late goal to absolutely destroy the Carcam champs 4-3. And yes, I am using the EU definition of that term. Really, it was a respectable showing for these boosted champs, especially with that high EU ping. I've been told it can be quite a disadvantage. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss a single upload. My name is Rocket Sledge. Thanks for watching.